and click on the community calendar button. WSIC, proud to be part of your community.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
All Things Saine with Representative Jason Saine. And good morning. You're listening to All Things Saine on WSIC. I am your host, State Representative Jason Saine. This will be our Thanksgiving edition. Don't know that it'd be different from any other edition, except for the fact that we're not going to talk about a lot of political news because, one, there's not been a lot going on. A little back and forth with the governor and the Chamber of Commerce. Apparently needed to pick a fight this past week with them. Looks like he's on the losing end of that, but whatever. That's his business, not mine. Good luck with that. But it is the day before Thanksgiving, so if you're listening to the podcast, whenever you listen to it, just know that's the context in which this show is happening. Try to get my son, who's out of school, to come and be in the studio today, and it's just his day off. And he said, Dad, there's the new Call of Duty. I'm going to play because you and Mom are going to have me running everywhere between in-laws and doing all kind of stuff. So today's my day. So I said, you know what? Fair enough. So I am winging it today, but with you. And if you're listening live, you can call in 844-STUDIO-4. We are going to be talking about things that are Thanksgiving. Was thinking about what could we talk about? Because, look, I want it to be light. Don't really want to talk politics all the time. It's as fun as that may be. Turns out there's a whole nother world. You have to tell politicians that sometimes. But the reality is, for most of us, there are many other things to go do. And Thanksgiving being one of them. So it's time for, travel a little bit. Bill says he's going to Baltimore. Good luck with that. I-95, I'm sure, will be a riot. And, it'll be what it's going to be. I fly out to Arizona on Sunday morning and really rethinking my life choices. But nevertheless, going to be going out to a conference with other legislators in Arizona. So at least it'll be Arizona, and I'll see some of the greatest sceneries of the hotel there. As it goes with most conferences. It sounds really, really exciting until you realize, I'm just going to go see another conference center. But nevertheless, we'll go do that and see how it works out at the airport. Can't drive to Arizona. I mean, I guess I could. Don't have that kind of time. But, hey, look, if you're traveling, please be safe over the holidays. It is no one wants to hear about tragedy over the holidays. So do your best to look out for others because chances are they're not looking out for you. But nevertheless, we are going to talk about Thanksgiving. I was talking to the wife, and she said, why don't you talk about Friends? Friends has every episode about Thanksgiving. I said, yes, but I don't actually watch those. So we will not be talking about Friends and Thanksgiving, although it was a great idea, but did give me an idea as far as some of the things we could talk about, best Thanksgiving movies. And if you have one that is your absolute favorite, feel free to call in, 844-STUDIO-4. Glad to talk with you about that. If you want to talk serious politics, you might have to wait a week. We'll talk next week. No, we'll entertain your call for sure. But it is great, and we are thankful to be, as blessed as we are in our household. Even though we're all kind of getting over a little bit of sickness. Parents had COVID over a week ago. They're getting over that. Luckily, none of us in my house directly had it and had to deal with it. Though last week I got to play school bus and lots of other things, moving the kid around and make sure we got to ball games and everywhere else we needed to get to, all while driving back and forth to Raleigh. So did all that, but glad to get that one in the rearview mirror as well. But best Thanksgiving movies. So I found on parade.com, which I'm assuming is like Parade magazine, being someone who reads Parade all the time. Or I could have just Google searched it and found it. But the best Thanksgiving movies, according to Parade, it said, looking for a movie the whole family can enjoy as you recover from the turkey coma this Thanksgiving. While there aren't as many Thanksgiving movies specifically about Thanksgiving as there are for Christmas, plenty of heartwarming films and TV specials embody the holiday spirit of love and gratitude. From old classics like A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving to modern favorites including Freebirds and Jim Henson's Turkey Hollow. We're taking a look at some of the best Thanksgiving family movies. You can find them on like Amazon and Disney Plus, and Netflix and Apple TV and all that. So I was intrigued by this because, one, I don't really think about Thanksgiving movies. We watch football. We will talk football today. But I was looking at these movies, and I realized that what they consider some of the best movies are movies I've never even heard of or seen. A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, it's okay. As far as Charlie Brown movies goes, it's all right. But they had that one listed as number one, and I'm guessing this is the kind of the clean family version of Thanksgiving movies that you can see. Also, there's some Thanksgiving horror movies. What's wrong with you people? Is this what you really watch? I mean, come on. Number two, Garfield's Thanksgiving. Okay, haven't seen it. Though I do like Garfield comic strips. So apparently it came out in 1989 where Garfield faces a Thanksgiving crisis when the vet tells him he's overweight and forces him to go on a low-fat, low-carb diet. And when John asks the vet on a date and attempts to cook her a turkey, Thanksgiving kitchen disasters ensue. This kind of sounds like my life, really. Maybe I'll be checking this one out. The third one, Jim Henson's Turkey Hollow. They even got a YouTube link to it. As you look at this thing, I'm not sure. This could be a horror movie. I mean, it's Jim Henson's puppets, but they're a little scary. The Thanksgiving movie originally aired on Lifetime in 2015. Oh, that could be why I hadn't seen it. And it's the perfect whimsical movie for the whole family. It follows the story of two kids searching for the legendary monster, the Howling Hoodoo, in the quirky town of Turkey Hollow, and features some of Jim Henson's trademark animatronic puppets. Maybe that is a horror movie. It sounds like a horror movie. I don't want to see it. Not going to see it. So hopefully you'll find something else better to do on Thanksgiving Day. My wife likes to watch the parade because she grew up in and around New York City and used to go to the Macy's Day Parade and all that. I can find better ways to be bored. But she does like it. And so we humor her and allow that to be on the television and feign interest every now and then just to make sure that everyone's happy on Thanksgiving. And if you're cooking on Thanksgiving, want to hear about your favorite meal? I have my favorites. I try not to talk politics at Thanksgiving. Doesn't work out, right? Most of my family all politically aligned, but my wife's family a little different. So it's not the most opportune time to discuss, what's happening in the world. It means on Thanksgiving I can still love my sister-in-law because she makes some awesome blue cheese biscuits, and that's just enough for me. And we're not going to talk about Joe Biden or Barack Obama or George Bush or Donald Trump. We just eat the biscuits, and it's okay. You can actually get through it and not have to discuss politics. Number 4 on their list, Freebirds. When I hear Freebird, I think, oh, cool, great song. Nope, apparently Freebirds is it's got Owen Wilson, Woody Harrelson, as well as others. George Takei lend their voices to the 2013 animated comedy about two turkeys who travel back in time to prevent Thanksgiving and to save all the turkeys from the dinner table. You know what? That might speak to me. It sounds kind of sci-fi. I mean, it's time-traveling turkeys. Hey, why not? Maybe get some good turkey humor there. I don't know. We might check it out. So, rounding out the number 5 on their list, Ratatouille. Okay, Disney classic. You got it. It's not a bad movie. Thanksgiving is about family and togetherness, but it's also a holiday for eating lots of delicious food. And what better way to celebrate than by watching Pixar's beloved movie about the adventures of an ambitious chef in Paris who happens to be a rat. There are some rats that are chefs, I guess, or no chefs that are, I don't know, rats that are chefs. Who knows? But great to have you listening on this Thanksgiving edition. We're taking a little lighthearted today. You're listening to All Things Saine on WSIC, wishing you a very, very happy Thanksgiving. We'll be back in just a moment.
More of All Things Saine with NC Representative Jason Saine is coming up on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Happy Thanksgiving. From all of us at WSIC, we hope everyone is able to spend some time with those that they love. Join the Cornelius Parks and Rec Department this Saturday for the 12th annual Light Up Cornelius, presented by Novant Health from 4 to 7 p.m. in downtown Cornelius. Festivities will include holiday songs, train rides, a sledding hill, food and craft vendors, and a visit from Santa. See you Saturday! Want to see more than 5 million Christmas lights at one time? Speedway Christmas is back. Happening daily, the amazing Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now through January 7th. The show is open 6 to 10 p.m., rain or shine. The Infield Christmas Village is open Thursday through Sunday nights. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway, now through January 7th. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. Community singers of Lake Norman are performing again Christmas style. December 3rd in Mooresville, December 5th in Huntersville, and December 11th in Cornelius, each evening at a different church. 3 shows, 3 nights. Community singers of Lake Norman. For more info, visit lakenormansings.com. The Community Singers of Lake Norman, lakenormansings.com. The Docksiders, performing at Kane Center for the Arts on Saturday, December 9th, are almost sold out. The Docksiders will take you back to the year 1981. Their unique and electric tribute act of yacht rock features songs from Hall & Oates, Christopher Cross, Kenny Loggins, and more. The Docksiders, Saturday, December 9th at Kane Center for the Arts. To purchase your tickets, visit kanearts.org. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Still a chance of rain as we head through the remainder of the afternoon. 20% chance of total precipitation. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies with a high up near 60 degrees. Clouds will roll out as you head into the evening. We have mostly clear skies, but a cold low temperature tonight, dropping down to 34 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Your home for non-stop Christmas music.
You serious, Clark?
Starting at 12 a.m. Thanksgiving Day. Thought-provoking conversations and informed perspectives.
It's meant for everyday people to understand, and you don't have to stress about technical terms and stuff. They just say it like a real person.
WSIC News Talk Now.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
All Things Saine with Representative Jason Saine.
We've got fun and games. We got everything you want, honey. We know the names. We are the people that can...
Welcome back to All Things Saine. I am your host, State Representative Jason Saine. You're listening to us on WSIC if you're listening live, or you could be listening or watching via the podcast. However you get us, glad to have you. Happy Thanksgiving to you. This is our Thanksgiving edition. It is going to be lighthearted and fun, much like the Twitter trolls. I guess they're ex-trolls now. Maybe they're, which is even better. They're ex-trolls. It's kind of like ex-girlfriends, I guess. I've got one Twitter follower in the city of Charlotte, former state employee, a little bitter apparently, and also not my constituent, but who loves to tweet at me things about Trump. And by the way, I've endorsed Ron DeSantis, but voted for Trump. Whatever. We're not getting into it. But he always likes to tweet these things at me, like PBS News Stories News Hour articles, and I never understand that. So today I took a little different take. Instead of just ignoring him, I thought, well, I would retweet back a news article for him. And, I think this is very timely as we approach the holiday season. This story comes from the Babylon Bee. And Hunter Biden is very disappointed to learn that white powder all over White House, just fake snow. So, again, wanted to share that news story. You can look it up at the Babylon Bee. But apparently not going to be the Christmas that Hunter Biden had hoped for. The fake snow just isn't his game. Back to Thanksgiving movies. I don't know if you watch Thanksgiving movies, if that's your thing. We usually watch Christmas movies, but apparently there are some Thanksgiving movies out there. And if the football gets really bad, we might just, watch 3 or 4 Christmas movies. But number 6 on the parade list is A Family Thanksgiving. The heartwarming 2010 Hallmark Channel movie tells the story of a high-powered corporate attorney who gets pulled into an alternate reality to see how her life might have turned out if she had made different choices. When she returns to her real life, she has a new perspective on what really matters and what she feels thankful for. Yeah, that sounds like a hoot. I'm sure that gather the family around to watch a powerful corporate attorney finally get a conscience, I think would be awesome. Not for me, but maybe my mom would watch it since it's on the Hallmark Channel, since she watches everything on the Hallmark Channel. We're talking about Thanksgiving movies. If you have one, you're welcome to call 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. Love to hear your perspective on some of the holiday movies. Number 7 on the parade list. We won't go through the entire list, but we'll round out the top 10. Decorating Disney Holiday Magic. Yeah, that one sounds fun too. And it's a special hosted by Whoopi Goldberg. Looks behind the scenes at how Disneyland and Walt Disney World Parks transform each year into a winter wonderland. Yeah, I wonder where my money went when we go. But it's a fun, feel-good special to get the whole family into the holiday spirit in the weeks leading up to Christmas. Because when I think Christmas, I think Whoopi Goldberg, because she's so pleasant. Number 8 on the Thanksgiving list. Gather the family around for this one. Little Women, 2019. As soon as it came out, the adaptation of Louisa May Alcott's novel became an instant holiday classic. It follows the coming-of-age journeys of the March sisters, Jo, Beth, Amy, and Meg, in 19th century Massachusetts. Fun for the whole family. So that was that version. So why recreate the wheel? Except they did. There's a 1994 version that makes number 9 on their list. Little Women, the 90s version of Little Women, starring Winona Ryder as Jo March, is just as wonderful as the most recent adaptation. And it would be the perfect feel-good drama for the whole family to enjoy while recovering from the Thanksgiving feast, which means I would get my nap in, which would be awesome, right? Rounding out their top 10, I actually agree with this one. So it only took us about, 8 movies to get to something else that people are going to actually watch, which you always wonder, what editor sits there and says, hey, could you write a list that no one's going to believe, but they just keep reading? It's just clickbait for sure, right? Because you're just reading like, oh, no, that's a stupid movie. No, that's more stupid than the movie before. That's more stupid. And then finally to number 10, they get to Home Alone, right? Okay, that's a family movie that people like to watch. It's funny. You got Pesci in there. You got Macaulay Culkin when he was cute. He's no longer cute. I used to be cute too. I'm no longer cute. So share a lot with him. But anyway, Home Alone may have a reputation as a Christmas movie, but why not get into the holiday mood with a Thanksgiving Day rewatch? I can agree with that one. All right, I'm going to go a little bit further into the list because it starts to get good, right? So they got Paul Blart Mall Cop. Okay, fair enough. Security guard who patrols the local mall in a Segway has to save the day when a gang of organized criminals takes over the mall in a Black Friday heist. So, that's fun. I think that makes a Thanksgiving movie. You can watch it with the family. You can laugh, while your uncle's over in the chair and he's falling asleep because he is in his turkey coma and he's where you want to be, but the kids keep talking. That kind of thing can work for me. Then I get into some weird stuff like Addams Family Values and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which is a great one, although it might be a little dated for some of the youngsters, but it's a classic. Steve Martin plays a marketing executive just trying to get home for Thanksgiving in this classic 87 comedy. His traveling companion and irritating shower ring salesman isn't going to make things any easier. They got Mary Poppins, Sound of Music. Sounds like death to me, but nevertheless, they go on to their whole list, and just a lot of things. Mrs. Doubtfire hits there, so maybe National Treasure. Don't think of it as a Thanksgiving movie, but maybe it does. It would be something that you could enjoy with the family. But whatever you do, I hope you enjoy it. Hope there's not too much fighting. No frozen turkeys in the fryer. I was listening to Justin earlier this morning. Tempting as it may be, bad idea. Really bad idea. And then, I came into the studio, by the way, and Bill, I noticed the Stream Deck. It might have been sitting here every time I did a broadcast, but I just noticed it. Things sometimes aren't all that obvious to me. And I realized, and I'm going to do it, I got to do it. That is the greatest thing ever. You got an air horn. I do this on the house floor when someone passes a bill. Not really, but I think if we did that, more people would watch. And, because you talk about boring YouTube channels, and I have one. It's called The Legislature. We did it a couple years ago as a matter of transparency, so that people could watch at home, so that you didn't have to sit in the gallery. A few people actually do watch it. But I think if we could bring more in, we'd probably get a little more entertainment value. It's just as entertaining as some of these Thanksgiving movies, by the way, if we just added the air horn. When someone makes a comment, a little mic drop moment, and then, you kind of look around, a little pause. I think would be awesome. And I know my boys that when we went to Florida, when I discovered this air horn app on my iPad, loved it. Huge fans, especially early in the morning. So we could do that at the legislature. But anyway, those are some of the really bad Thanksgiving suggestions, movies that they've got out there from Parade Magazine. You know, I read it every week, except I don't think ever actually read it. I just happen to know what it is. But and they end it with Miracle on 34th Street. Okay, good enough. It gets into Christmas. I got it. But fun times or not, it is what it is. We're glad to have you listening to All Things Saine. We do this every week. Next week, we're going to try this. I'm probably going to have something in the queue pre-recorded, some audio that Bill can feed in just in case. But we're going to be out in Arizona with a 3-hour time difference, and I'm not sure the schedule yet, how we'll do that, or may have someone come in and guest host. But in one way or the other, you will hear this wonderful voice next week after you get done with your Thanksgiving vacation and you're ready to come back and talk serious politics. We may even talk vertiports. It's a topic that I'm working on while I'm out in Arizona. It's basically air travel, personal air travel, that small little vertiports, think helicopters kind of thing, where these little planes, can take off, go straight up, and then fly you to your destination, which would be really nice right now. Bill, you'd love a vertiport right now, right? You don't have to drive on I-95 if you had a vertiport. So things that are probably coming into the future, we will see. But we're working on legislation that would kind of coincide with what the FAA is doing and some of the work that will go into planning for such things into the near future. So it could make your Thanksgiving travel so much easier, or maybe not. When we get back from the next break, we'll talk a little football, kind of do a preview of what's going on there. But really, reading this morning and knowing that. Everybody's going to be hitting the road. Weather, they talk about could play a factor, and for some it always is. It never ends up being the story that they want it to be. But it's nice to really get you jacked up before and to contribute to your anxiety before you hit the road. But reading Axios's morning email this morning, it said more than 1.6 million North Carolinians will travel 50 miles or more this Thanksgiving holiday travel period. AAA predicts. A large majority of those travelers, 1.43 million, will travel by car. Be prepared for traffic. Well, here's a news flash. Yes, but gas prices nationwide have been falling thanks to lower demand and declining oil prices. Well, I guess we just don't want to go anywhere. So that is helping contribute to the lower demand and the decline in oil prices. A gallon of unleaded in the Charlotte area is now $3 on average, nearly 30 cents cheaper than a month ago. On my way over here to Cornelius, to the studios, I paid $2.96 right there on Highway 73 as you leave Lincolnton. So a little tip for you for listening. Statewide, the average cost per gallon is $3.04. I was in Asheville last Friday coming home. Apparently, like everything else in Asheville, they think really highly of it. And I think my gas price there was $3.15. This time last year, a gallon of unleaded averaged $3.30 in Charlotte. So, it's busy time, road travels, people are going to be out there today. Please be careful if you're out and about. If you don't have to travel, I wouldn't, but, far be it for me to tell you what to do. It will be the busiest day on the roads during the Thanksgiving holiday travel period, according to AAA. Peak traffic hours will be 2 to 6 p.m. Be careful if you're out there. We'll be back in just a minute. You're listening to All Things Saine, the Thanksgiving edition. Glad to have you listening to the podcast and live broadcast. We'll be back in just a minute after a break. Thanks for listening.
Keep it right here. All Things Saine with NC Representative Jason Saine will return after this short break on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Hey, you. The one on the couch who just told your friend you can't go out because you're busy? Ready to get real about your psoriasis? When your current treatments don't do enough to help control the inflammation beneath the skin, causing plaques and pain, stressing and scratching, it's time to stop hiding and get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Still a chance of rain as we head through the remainder of the afternoon. 20% chance of total precipitation. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies with a high up near 60 degrees. Clouds will roll out as you head into the evening. We have mostly clear skies, but a cold low temperature tonight, dropping down to 34 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Folks, you know Randy Marion sells vehicles the King of Price way, but did you know our service department? We service vehicles the King of Price way. We sell tires, we sell brakes, we sell batteries, we sell the maintenance. We help you keep your vehicle on the road safe, ready to drive, whatever the season is. Randy Marion service departments have you covered. Come see us today because, folks, again, you know we sell the King of Price way and we do service the King of Price way.
King of Price, RandyMarionStatesville.com.
Hi, this is Susan. I'm excited to let you know that Lake Mountain Coffee is now available for private events. Our beautiful historic building with its 360-degree mezzanine has hosted many private parties, catered diners, and even an actual wedding. Please contact Andy at 704-252-1886 for more information. Thank you so much.
Buying gifts in this economy? Forget about it. Introducing the 12 Days of Christmas giveaway. For your chance to win, register online at WSICnews.com/holiday. Kitchen essentials, tech toys, kids gifts, a mountain getaway, and much, much more. Oh, yeah. WSIC's 12 Days of Christmas giveaway. Winners will be drawn each weekday morning on Good Morning LKN starting December 7th through December 22nd.
Whatever the story,
we have to end our dependence on China.
Have your say.
This debt crisis is going to set our economy back big time.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
All Things Saine with Representative Jason Saine. And welcome back. You're listening to All Things Saine here on WSIC. I am your host, State Representative Jason Saine. This is our Thanksgiving edition. Glad to have you listening. Really appreciate it. We're not talking anything too serious today, although if you're a serious football fan, I guess this is a serious topic for you. But talking about what we'd be watching on Thanksgiving Day. Always tons of things to watch. At some point in time, my father-in-law will put on some really loud Christmas music that makes it difficult to hear for someone who's already hard of hearing as we eat our dinner. But and for some reason, they turned the television off. We have convinced them over the last couple of years to at least leave it on so we can see the score somewhere in the background there from the kitchen table. But nevertheless, here is your Thanksgiving Day lineup in case you were wondering. So you got at 12:30, you got the Green Bay Packers. They're 4-6 at the Detroit Lions, who are 8-2. The Packers 4-6, and the Lions. Who would have thought the Lions were at 8-2? That's not a Thanksgiving tradition. Barry Sanders come back or something. I haven't been paying attention to the Detroit Lions, as you might imagine. My friend Joe over at Joey's probably has been since they're from Michigan, but for me, Detroit just not my joint. But nevertheless, they're 8-2, so they might get a win on Thanksgiving. We'll see. Or the Packers could get their upset and get closer to a 500 record. My old team, or the team that was my old team, Washington Commanders, 4-7, are taking on the Dallas Cowboys, 7-3. I don't know who to hate in that one, honestly. Was a huge Washington Redskins fan They got woke, had to change the name on a traditional team that had been out there for a long time. We won't rehash it. It just made it that much easier to transition to the Panthers because I love losing and was used to it in Washington, so it made it easier just to do it at home. And the Commanders are at 4-7, and the Cowboys 7-3. Who Cowboys came in last, I guess, this past Sunday to Charlotte, and really put on a clinic. Not that it was that hard for our team to witness a winning team, and the Cowboys came in and took it to us. But the Commanders, who are 4-7, I do like Coach Ron Rivera when he was here in Charlotte. Super nice guy. Would hope for better. Don't wish ill on any of them, but Commanders just aren't my team. I was at the last home game. Didn't know it at the time. The last home game of the Washington Redskins. They were playing Philadelphia, and in true Redskins fashion, of course, lost in a close game. And I was watching the. We were in a hospitality booth beside the actual command staff of the Redskins, and watching people knowing they were about to get fired, which was interesting to watch. They had a crummy season that year, but at least they got rid of the owner, and that's always a plus because he was detrimental to my Redskins. But have made my way and made the Panthers my team. Now I just wish they would actually get some wins, but nevertheless, we're thankful they're at least still here. And then at 8:20 on Thanksgiving, San Francisco 49ers 7-3 at the Seattle Seahawks 6-4. That probably will be the better game, given the record. I have caught some of those games. We do the Sunday ticket and the red zone. My son loves football. I do too. They're not as much once they kind of got woke and so forth. Just kind of lost a little bit of the fan base. But we, of course, we still pay for the shows and watch them, and or not for the shows, but for the Sunday ticket thing on YouTube TV and then Red Zone, which I like Red Zone because you can kind of see all the action. I still love football. Focus a little more on college football, and there is college football on Thanksgiving Day, as there is always is. It's the what is it? I guess it's the Egg Bowl. It's Mississippi State and Ole Miss. So at 7:30, number 12 Ole Miss, who's 9-2, against the Mississippi State Bulldogs, who are 5-6. Was looking at the odds, so you can't quite yet bet in North Carolina, though I think that people do, even though the sports betting bill has not taken effect yet and become law until January. Know a little bit about that, but it's the Mississippi or Ole Miss versus Mississippi State. Here are the odds for the annual Egg Bowl. So last I looked, it's actually changed a little bit from yesterday. So they got Ole Miss by 10.5. So it could be a close game. It says, well, most football fans will be locked into the NFL this Thanksgiving. The best tradition on Thursday happens in college. That is, of course, the Egg Bowl, which sees the Mississippi Rebels take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Say that fast a lot on the radio, Mississippi. This year, the in-state rivals do battle in Starkville in what is still a very important game for both teams. The Rebels still have an outside shot at a New Year's Six bowl game, while the Bulldogs need another victory to become bowl eligible. So Mississippi is also motivated to take back the golden egg after allowing State to snatch a 24-22 victory in Oxford last year. This time around, the Rebels are double-digit road favorites. And can they cover the big number, or is that too much chalk for this rivalry game? So that story comes from Covers. Should be interesting football. Probably be the game I watch versus the NFL at that point in time. But I can also rest assured that at my in-laws, we'll be watching both games back and forth, and we'll probably change the channels right when it's important to watch the other one, and that will be when all the hilarity ensues at Thanksgiving. We're talking about what your plans are for Thanksgiving. If you're going to be on the road, please be safe. Be safe any day. There's a lot of idiots on the road. I know. I drive with them a lot. But please watch out for others, because it can make everyone's holiday miserable when you're on your phone, you're texting, and you bump into that other car. Bad idea. Bad mojo. You can call us, 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. Tell us your Thanksgiving stories, if you will. Thinking about some of the best conversations that you can have at Thanksgiving. There are a lot. You can talk about politics, which I don't like to do. That's when people get in arguments. And who wants to do that on Thanksgiving? I do it for a living. So, it's not as fun at Thanksgiving. But I was Googling some of the conversation starters that you can use at Thanksgiving. So these are helpful tips for you. If you don't know what to say to that in-law that's sitting across the table from you, here's a couple things. What if you get stuck at the kids' table? Been there, done that. Matter of fact, I enjoy that. But parents to ask kids of all ages. So you can ask this question. Who's the funniest person at the table and why? Pretend you just won $5 million. What's the first thing you would buy? I think that'd be interesting to hear from kids. One of the things when I go to classrooms to talk to kids, ask them, how much do you think a state legislator makes? That's hilarious to listen to the responses. So it's kind of the same thing. Pretend you just won $5 million. What's the first thing you would buy? I think that conversation works with adults too. What do you think is the hardest thing about being a parent? Be interesting to hear a kid's perspective on that. It is, to me, that is probably the more fun part about the holidays is the kids, because you don't really get to interact with them, and then they're forced to sit at the table with you, and then you get to torment them and ask them questions like, what are you most thankful for this year? And see what they have to say there. If you could redo yesterday, what would you do? How about if you could eat 3 things for the rest of your life? What would they be? So I don't know what my answer to that would be. Pizza, ice cream, corn dogs? I don't know. Very refined palate, by the way. If you could be famous for something, what would it be? Or what part of adulting are you most looking forward to? That would be interesting to hear. So I may use that one on my nieces on Saturday. We'll ask them, what will it be like when you're an adult? Here's from kids to parents. Kids, if you don't know what to say and you listen to this podcast, boy, you're very mature. And also need something better to do. But kids, to ask parents, if you could have named yourself, what name would you have picked? I don't know what name I would have picked. Beauregard. Beauregard, that's it. What do you think is the hardest thing about being a kid? Kids to parents, what about me is most and least like you? If you could eat only one food on this table for an entire year, which one would it be? Well, mine would be cranberry sauce. But the real cranberry sauce, not the stuff my dad likes, which just comes out of the can, and actually prefers it in the can shape because then he feels like it's like a real Thanksgiving. I like the stuff with actual cranberries in it, but pick on my dad just a little bit. Kids to parents, if you were an animal, what would you be? What would you rather not shower for a week or not brush your teeth? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me read it the right way. Would you rather not shower for a week or not brush your teeth for a week? What superpower do you wish you had? And what is the weirdest thing you've ever eaten? Certainly those are conversation starters. We'll get into some other ones here in just a minute. But next, siblings to ask siblings. What is one of your favorite things we played as a kid? I think my sister would answer that game we played where you take your air rifle and shoot at me. That was a fun game. More fun for me than it was for her, but nevertheless, no one lost an eye as much as my mom said that would happen. No one did. What is your funniest memory about us growing up? And if money was no object, what's the ideal spot for us to take a family vacation together? That would be interesting to hear from my sister because we literally, my family, and if you're from this area, your options generally were mountains or beach. What are we doing this year? Mountains or beach? That's where we would go because you could drive either way, mountains or beach. Which of us do you think got in the most trouble? The answer there is easy. That would be my sister. If you could go back in time, what moment would you most like to revisit? I think I would like to go back to that time when we were riding up to West Virginia to visit some family. And my sister from the front seat, because you could stand in the front seat then because, kids wore helmets. They did not wear helmets at that time. And she come across the bridge of my nose and busted my nose. I'd love to relive that moment. But nevertheless, we are talking about Thanksgiving, all things Thanksgiving, all things sane here on WSIC. Give us a call, 844-STUDIO-4 or 844-788-3464.
There's more All Things Saine with NC Representative Jason Saine on the way from the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Happy Thanksgiving. From all of us at WSIC, we hope everyone is able to spend some time with those that they love. Join the Cornelius Parks and Rec Department this Saturday for the 12th annual Light Up Cornelius, presented by Novant Health from 4 to 7 p.m. in downtown Cornelius. Festivities will include holiday songs, train rides, a sledding hill, food and craft vendors, and a visit from Santa. See you Saturday! Want to see more than 5 million Christmas lights at one time? Speedway Christmas is back. Happening daily, the amazing Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now through January 7th. The show is open 6 to 10 p.m., rain or shine. The Infield Christmas Village is open Thursday through Sunday nights. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway, now through January 7th. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. Community singers of Lake Norman are performing again Christmas style. December 3rd in Mooresville, December 5th in Huntersville, and December 11th in Cornelius, each evening at a different church. 3 shows, 3 nights. Community Singers of Lake Norman. For more info, visit lakenormansings.com. The Community Singers of Lake Norman. lakenormansings.com. The Docksiders, performing at Kane Center for the Arts on Saturday, December 9th, are almost sold out. The Docksiders will take you back to the year 1981. Their unique and electric tribute act of yacht rock features songs from Hall & Oates, Christopher Cross, Kenny Loggins, and more. The Docksiders, Saturday, December 9th at Kane Center for the Arts. To purchase your tickets, visit kanearts.org. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Still a chance of rain as we head through the remainder of the afternoon. 20% chance of total precipitation. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies with a high up near 60 degrees. Clouds will roll out as you head into the evening. We have mostly clear skies, but a cold low temperature tonight, dropping down to 34 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Your home for non-stop Christmas music. Starting at 12 a.m. Thanksgiving Day. Be a part of the conversation.
We can't fix America's debt by starving people.
Have your say.
One shooting after another, and we're doing nothing to solve it?
This is WSIC. News, talk, now.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number.
And welcome back. You're listening to All Things Saine here on WSIC. I'm your host, State Representative Jason Saine. We do this every week on Wednesdays from 11 to 12. But you can also get us on the podcast. You can watch us live on YouTube, LinkedIn, various other places like the Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it these days, and other sources. And you can find the podcast on Apple, Spotify, and others, many others. However you listen, I guarantee you can find us. We are approaching Thanksgiving. This is the day before Thanksgiving. This is our Thanksgiving edition. It is basically the ramblings of a state legislator who doesn't want to talk about politics on the day before Thanksgiving because we get enough of that all year. But we'll talk about a very political family, the Skywalker family. I wanted to look and see if Star Wars was going to be playing on Thanksgiving, and so I just did my Google search and then have found that there's tons of wonderful AI images that have been generated regarding Star Wars. And you think about it, if you're a Star Wars fan, what a great time to gather around the turkey with the Skywalkers, including Dad, Anakin Skywalker, and to get Leia and Luke and everyone around the table. The images are hilarious. I've been playing a little bit with the AI. Bing's got a AI image generator. My favorite that I've created recently, because I'm watching Loki on Disney Plus, is I created an image where Loki is destroying the city of Charlotte. I mean, he's a Nordic god, and with tricks and powers and things. And so in the image, it's the city of Charlotte clearly, and he's standing over it and ruling over the city of Charlotte. So anyway, I shared that with Councilman Tart Bakari, who loved it. Also was a little concerned about me and my state of mind, but nevertheless, I don't know if it's playing or not. Thanksgiving Star Wars, but usually you can find it somewhere where they're doing the marathon. Hopefully that's happening. If not, if you're like our family, we own multiple versions of all the trilogies And so, therefore, it doesn't matter. We'll play them at any time. But it is a time to catch up and do the fun things you like. I just finished the Loki series. If you're a Marvel fan, that is incredible. If you understand kind of your mythology, your Norse mythology, it is amazing how the Marvel minds have really woven that into the show. It's very clever. There's so many deeper things in that's interesting to watch. Quite frankly, for my money, probably one of the better series from Marvel. Not excited about the new movie that's out. Probably won't be going to see that one over Thanksgiving. I know that some people will, but not our thing. Can't even get the youngling there sort of interested in going to see it. And quite frankly, after I saw the previews, probably not. You can't just slap Marvel on it and think that everyone's going to want to go see it. It really does have to be a good movie. And but anyway, we're talking about what you watch on Thanksgiving. Obviously, many of us watch football. We have fans who are only fans one day out of the year. Family members who pretend to act like they know something about football, which is always fun to watch as well. But we're talking about what would be conversation starters. If you get to that low point or that high point, as it may be, after your Thanksgiving meal, what is it you're going to talk about? And we're talking about what siblings to siblings would ask and what they would talk about. So I guess I imagine my sister asking me this, what song do you like to put on repeat? Actually, I would change that a little bit. What movie would you like to put on repeat? Because, I can't say that I like the movie Dirty Dancing. I can't say that I enjoy it at all, but I've seen it probably 200-300 times because my younger sister growing up loved that movie, had it on the VHS, played it over and over and over, and then some. So I know every line, and I somewhat hate myself for that. But nevertheless, ask that question. Ask that of your sibling. What song or movie do you like to put on repeat? Because I guarantee you my sister's answer would be Dirty Dancing. What do you think was the best prank you ever pulled? My sister and I did a great one on my mother one time, and we convinced her that she had been saying fajita wrong, and instead had her say something else when she ordered. And she said, "No, I know I'm right." I said, "No, Mom, you're not. You're not right." And so she ordered something very different from a fajita, and hilarity ensued. We enjoyed it. My mom did not, by the way. And then what's still on your bucket list to do? Here's something you can ask friends. So if you're having a Friendsgiving, that is popular this time of year. We don't do that in my office. We wait till Christmas time and kind of blow it out with all the people that work in and around my office, because we end up, I've got usually 2 or 3 staffers, but then staff from other offices. So we do a usually either a pre-Christmas meal or a post-Christmas meal, depending on everyone's schedule. I think we're doing it pre-Christmas this year. So we kind of throw it all into one, our Friendsgiving and our Christmas dinner and all that. And we do it. Here's what friends can ask friends. Which person here do you wish you knew better? Okay, I guess that's okay. Which person at this table would make the best news anchor? Now, see, that I think would be interesting. Who would make a good news anchor, and what makes a good news anchor? If you had a uniform that you had to wear every day, what would it be? What's your celebrity baby name? Who would your Clue character be? See, I think this dates the list here. Who would your Clue character be? Because there's plenty of people out there that wouldn't have a clue, I guess. Ooh, wow, dad jokes. Oh, but you know what? We got something for that. Love the air horn. Just found it. And anyway, I'm sure my friends who had to put up with me, because I do have the app and I play it a lot with the air horn. What's your favorite dad joke of all time? It's like that was coming to me, right? What's your favorite dad joke of all time? Would you rather be a superhero or a supervillain? So my favorite character in Star Wars is Darth Vader. And I just mentioned Loki. I think I'd rather be a supervillain. They seem to have more fun, at least until the end of the movie, right? I mean, they have the greatest of times until you get to the end of the movie. What famous person would fit in best with this crew? Okay, depending on who you're with. What famous person would fit in best with this crew? I think Monty Python might fit into my crew, but nevertheless, would you ever want to be on a reality show? Why or why not? I live a reality show. Literally, they put cameras on us all the time. It is better than the real world on MTV, because you never know what people are going to say. And the weird stuff in the closet when they're just talking to the cameras, that also is awkward, but also not sanctioned at the legislature. Would you, let's see, what was the worst job you ever had and why? For me, that would probably be as a bag boy at Harris Teeter. I enjoyed being the bag boy. That was not a problem. Stacking the groceries, putting them in. It's the after-hour stuff when you have to go clean the restrooms. Public restrooms are nasty. You people are nasty. And when you have to do that as a 16-year-old, that is no fun at all. It makes you not like that job. I loved everything else about that job, but that part. And then what's your go-to karaoke song? I think mine's The Chair. I guess, would it be The Chair? Yeah, The Chair. I think so. Or maybe a Waylon Jennings song. George Strait, Waylon Jennings. Those would be my kind of go-tos, right? Okay, here's something for kids to ask grandparents or other older relatives. Since I'm starting to resemble that older relative part, maybe I can anticipate these. It's how did you celebrate Thanksgiving when you were my age? Okay, I'm not that old, right? I mean, it's the same thing we're doing now. What would be the answer? I think anybody living would have to say we at least gathered around the television and had our dinner. I mean, that's pretty standard. But anyway, what was your favorite thing about where you grew up? Well, what about my mom, dad drove you bonkers when she was a kid? Well, that would be interesting to hear from my mom and dad. If you could live any decade of your life again, which would it be? I don't know that at 50, I don't know that there's any decade I want to relive. Although the 80s were great, right? I mean, when you think about the parachute pants and the members only jackets, I mean, it doesn't really get any better than that, honestly. We pretty much lived it all at this point. If you had an extra hour every day, how would you spend it? For me, one more hour of Call of Duty. What is your favorite month and why? Mine is Febtober. What's the weirdest thing that you used to eat as a kid? That you used to eat? Okay, yeah. What was the weirdest thing you used to eat as a kid? My younger sister ate pickles all the time, like just loved pickles. And if you could, would you choose a different job? No, I think I love my job. Here's what romantic partners can ask each other. And this is my favorite part and what I really wanted to get into because I think this is great things that wives can ask husbands on Thanksgiving to keep the peace and to make sure everything's going right. And the first one is, what did you really think of me on your first date? For my wife and I, God, I love her. Obviously, I'm married to her. On our first real date, she ended up having an allergic reaction. We went to Ben & Jerry's after our dinner, and unfortunately, they had mixed the peanut butter ice cream into her ice cream. Big no-no. So the moment she looked at me and she said, hey, you might have to reach in my purse, grab the EpiPen, and stab me in the leg, really was the highlight of our first date. And I must have enjoyed it because I didn't have to stab her in the leg with the EpiPen. We stopped and got some Benadryl. Everything was okay. But she is highly allergic to peanuts. Romantic partners asking each other, what phrase would you like me to never again utter? See, I feel like this is just a start to a fight. It's probably a bad idea, but okay. If I were a pair of shoes, what kind would I be? That's a dumb one. What is the best holiday we've ever spent with each other? It should be the current one we're spending right now. That's the right answer. I promise you. If you could travel anywhere, where would you go? What was the best movie or TV show you saw this year? What movie or TV couple do you think we're most like? Gosh, I wouldn't even try. But nevertheless, I hope that your Thanksgiving is a wonderful, wonderful time with your family, friends, whoever you may be spending it with. Please be safe out there as you travel. We know that it's going to be a little bit precarious out there, especially if you're doing the air travel. Prepare for times. It's going to take a while. And then if you're in the car, prepare for times. It's going to take a while. But nevertheless, really enjoy doing the show today. I appreciate you listening. We will see you next week here on All Things Saine on WSIC. As always, great to be with you. Thank you.
The new 106.